On the news tonight, why Tinubu's victory took foreign commentators by surprise. 10th Assembly, APC will zone leadership after Ramadan, Senate spoke. FG indefinitely postpones training for NPC enumerators. Peter Obi briefly detained at Heathrow Airport in mistaken identity probe. And on sports, 2023 Under-17 AFCON, Golden Eaglet set for final training camp in Germany. Now the news in detail. Many foreign commentators were surprised by the outcome of the 2023 general election, Nigerian presidential election, due to their wrong mindset before the polls, the federal government has said. Lai Mohammed, the Minister of Information and Agriculture, disclosed this in London during his meeting with some international media organizations and think tanks. Mohammed is in London to defend the legitimacy of the 2023 presidential poll and correct certain narratives regarding the elections. He said some of the commentators had the wrong mindset that the Labour Party LP and its presidential flag bearer, Peter Obi, would win the election. In the course of my interactions, particularly with The Economist, I referred them to an earlier article they wrote in which they rated the Labour Party presidential candidate as a front-runner in the polls, Mohammed said. I explained to them that there was no way a presidential candidate who has no political spread and a grassroots base could win an election in Nigeria. When you look at the results, only the candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress and the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu met this requirement, he added. Obi came far behind with 25% in 15 states. This means that Obi, who was wrongly adjudged as a front-runner in the election, was virtually unknown and unpopular in 22 states, he said. Tinubu, a former Lagos State governor, is expected to be sworn in as Nigeria's new president come May 2023 on the date of 29th. Going on to the next story. Senate spokesperson Ajibola Bashiru said the leadership of the ruling All Progressive Congress APC will take a decision to zone in the leadership of the 10th National Assembly at the end of the Ramadan fast. Bashiru disclosed this while speaking in an interview on Channels Television Sunrise Daily on Wednesday. He said, I believe that our party will ultimately take a decision on the zoning possibly after Ramadan and certainly before June when the next assembly will be convoked. According to Bashiru, some of the parameters to be considered for the emergence of the next Senate President and the next Speaker of the House of Representatives include ranking, competence, capacity, religion, zonal contribution to the victory of Bola Tinubu in the February 25th presidential poll, amongst others. It will be in the best interest of our party to zone the offices so that we can narrow the number of contestants, because when you have 8 persons from a single political party contesting, it creates a problem for us to having a cohesive force going into the election, he added. Recall that the APC won majority of the legislative seats during the elections with over 55 seats Senate out of 109 and over 160 out of 360 House of Representative seats. Bashiru said any of the senators elect are competent to be presiding officers over the National Assembly. He, however, said the APC National Working Committee, NWC, and the party's National Executive Committee, NEC, has not taken any decision yet on which of the 6 geopolitical zones will produce the next Senate president. Going on to the next story. The federal government has indefinitely postponed the training for the National Population Commission, Enumerators and Supervisors. The NPC Enumerators and Supervisors training ahead of the 2023 National Census was slated for April 13th before the postponement. Libo Ari, NPC's chairman of the Census Committee, disclosed this in Abuja on Wednesday. Mr. Ari assured that the postponement would not affect the conduct of the population and housing census scheduled to hold from May 3rd to 7th. He explained that the NPC was ready to conduct a credible census, adding that they had already concluded the training of quality data managers and others. However, the Census Committee chairman said a new date for training and enumerators and supervisors would be communicated as soon as possible. Going on to the next story. The presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, was on Friday detained and interrogated at the Heathrow Airport in London over an allegation of identity theft, People's Gazette learned. Chinyere Stella Okuna, who served as the Information Commissioner and Chief of Staff under Mr. Obi's governorship tenure, revealed his ordeal, which she described as a Heathrow tale of woe with UK immigration officials. According to Ms. Okuna, Mr. Obi was grilled for a long time and subsequently handed a detention note by the foreign officers. Many Nigerians at the airport protested Mr. Obi's detention, asking why the presidential candidate, a frequent visitor to the UK, would suddenly become a subject of a foreign government investigation to the point of being detained, according to Ms. Okuna's account of the incident. The response received was that Mr. Obi's identity was duplicated, implying someone else may have entered the UK impersonating him. The implication is that someone is impersonating Peter Obi and that someone could implicate Obi in all matter of dubious and even criminal activities and rope him into any number of offenses. It could get Obi framed for one criminal act or another. Ms. Okuno said in a social media post, "The frightening scenario of what can happen is unimaginable." Darren Onifade, the spokesman for the Peter Obi Dirty presidential campaign, confirmed the detention and said truthsayers were going to unthinkable lengths to intimidate Mr. Peter Obi. It's also not impossible that those urging him to leave the country may have planted the impersonator ostensibly to tar the eagle's immaculate appearance, Mr. Onifade said. He said Mr. Obi remains undoubted by their attempt and has since returned to Nigeria to resume his duties. Going on to the next story from Lagos. The police commissioner in Lagos, Idowu Omaunwa, on Tuesday disbursed checks worth 28 million naira to the families of 78 police officers who died in the course of duties. While speaking with the relatives of the deceased officers at the State Police Command Headquarters in Ikeja on Tuesday, Mr. Idowu said the police were committed to the welfare of its officers. The police commissioner sympathized with the deceased families and urged them to use the money to better their lives. A deceased officer's spouse, Gloria Ode, said the money would be used to pay the children's school fees and complete the building of their home. Another relative, Ikechukwu Desmond Kester, commended the command for the disbursements. He said he would give the money to the mother of the deceased officer. It's been a while that we have been expecting this check, Mr. Kester said. Going on to Delta States. The recent tension in Agboho community, Ugeli North local government area of Delta State, following the killing of a youth leader, Chief Sylvester Fehobo. The incident occurred Sunday night, information lands. It was gathered that the deceased was called out of his house by his assailant only to be killed. Immediately he came out, his killers, who were fully armed, shot at him several times, but the bullet could not penetrate him. The assailant dragged him to a nearby bush where they asked him to die, the source said. Chief Fehobo was a strong member of the All Progressive Congress APC. He was recently conferred with a chieftaincy title by His Royal Majesty Ajuwe Samson Ogugu I, the Osove of Agboho Kingdom. Resident linked to his death to court-related issues. As of the time of filing this report, most shops within and outside the Agboho market are being shut down for fear of being attacked by hoodlums. The police are yet to comment on the matter. From that story, we go to the foreign story. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, having been criminally charged in New York, pledged Tuesday to never drop out of the 2024 race for the White House and insisted Joe Biden is not fit to run again. The Republican real estate magnate facing 34 felony counts in New York over alleged hush money paid to an adult film actress told Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson that nothing would prevent him from running, even a conviction. "I would never drop out," he said. "It's not my team. I wouldn't do it." Trump, 76, in his first major interview since being arrested and fingerprinted last week, cast doubt on whether Democrat Biden, 80, would be in the 2024 race. "I don't see how it's possible," he said. "It's not an age thing. I don't think he can. I just don't see Biden doing it from a physical or a mental standpoint. I don't see it. Trump and other senior Republicans have repeatedly doubted Biden's mental acuity and apparent frailty. Right-wing outlets like Fox News frequently highlight his verbal flops and moments where he appears to have lost his stream of thoughts. To end the world news is the sports story. The Golden Eaglet, under the tutelage of FIFA Qatar World Cup winning captain Nduka Ubade, are gearing up for a final training camp in Germany ahead of the Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations due in Algeria between 29th April and 19th May. Last summer, the Golden Eaglets swept aside all before them to win the Waffle Bees Under-17 Championship in Cape Coast, Ghana, which made them eligible for a spot at the continental event. In February, the Eaglets had an extended training camp in Abuja, where the technical crew seized the opportunity to evaluate more players and then went on break. Since resuming camp in Abuja a fortnight ago, following the country's general elections, the team has played 9 friendlies, winning 8 and drawing 1. The 5-time world champion have also scored 50 goals and conceded 11 goals. The latest friendly games were against Galadima FC on Easter Sunday, whom they defeated 3-1, and against VP Sport, which they pounded 10-2 on Tuesday. Ubade, who captained Nigeria's under-16 team to FIFA World Cup victory in China 1985, and was a key player for the under-20 team that finished as runners-up at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Saudi Arabia 4 years later, insists that the technical crew is not resting on its oars as they get set to pick the team that will go on the final training camp and onward to Algeria. Before we end the world news this hour, let's have some major headlines. 2023 election, why Tinubu's victory took foreign commentators by surprise. 10th Assembly, APC will zone leadership after Ramadan, Senate speaks. Still on the 2023 census, FG indefinitely postpones training for NPC enumerators and supervisors. We also brought to you Peter Obi, briefly detained at Heathrow Airport in mistaken identity probe. And on sport, Golden Eaglet set for final training camp in Germany. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is BGI TV Current. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placements of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. I am Morire Rebila Lawa. Good evening.